Today's video is going to be my usual that I do pretty much every time. I'll just make the whole batch the same flavor. You can make each batch your own flavors or whatever you want to do or whatever you've got in the fridge. You can mix them up, but since it's always our favorite to have the grapefruit, that's what I'm making. I normally use 4 grapefruits if they're big ones. I've got some blood oranges, 4 of those in there. And I got some tangerines sitting right there. Whatever's in the fridge. I'll use lemon sometimes and lime, just enough to make enough juice to fill the bottoms of the bottles with enough juice to do the second ferment. Brew your tea. Add 1 cup of organic sugar. So I've got 7 bags here. I always cut these off. Tie them in a knot. Nobody says you have to do it, but I don't know what's written on those labels, so that's what I do. Drop them in glass, make my tea. It's hot. Brew it for a while till it's nice and dark. I think it says 2, but I usually do a little bit more, so this is closer to 3. Set this to the side, let it steep a while, and then 1 cup of organic cane sugar. I don't actually know if you have to use organic or if you have to use cane, but that's what we use for the AIP compliance thing. Now the sugar gets eaten by the scoby, which is the thing that's alive that makes the kombucha. Even though it seems like a lot of sugar, it transforms it into, it ferments it basically, turns it into something else. I don't know what it is, but after it eats it, it processes it and it's not sweet anymore. It tastes like vinegar. You need to buy a glass jug like this. I'll put a link. I got a 2-pack of these because I rotate the 2, and I think I got another 2-pack and I gave one to Amanda. So I've got 3 rotating and she's got some. This little glob disgusting thing that almost made us barf, that's the scoby. I bought that on Amazon. Oh, the jars were 20 bucks, I think, for 2 jars. The scoby was $13, and they just ship it to you and you're ready to go. Or we found a YouTube video that you can make it from one of these. So I'll put a link in there for that video. If you have one of these, you can actually make your own kombucha in starter from this, one of these. So that's even cheaper. So that's only $3 that you could do it, start it from. You're gonna also need at least 6 of these bottles. They're 16-ounce flip top bottles. Put a link in there for those, a 6-pack. They've got 8 packs, they've got more. I've got, thank you Kathy Withrow for sending me a 6-pack of them, because now I've got enough to make 3 batches. I've got 3 of these guys going at all times. The reason I do it is because it's so much cheaper. Way cheaper. $3.50 versus $1.25 for this. And it's even cheaper than that because I actually am getting 7 bottles now out of each batch for 1 jug. 6 is what I used to do, but I actually do 7 now. I do even less fruit juice in there and get it going that way. You're gonna need some fruit though. Enough fruit to fill up about 26 to 28 ounces. You're gonna want a plastic mesh. Supposedly you're not supposed to touch anything kombucha-ish with metal. I guess it leaches or does something or changes it somehow from the metal. So even stainless, you don't want to store it in a thing. You're not even supposed to use a spoon. You should use a plastic spoon, plastic mesh strainer, because the more pulp you have in this, it makes a plug up here, and that's what causes the explosions all over your ceiling, and it's sticky and disgusting and really, 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 really not fun to clean up. It's the worst. The last one was the worst. It was the worst. I mean, I had to wash the light bulbs. It took me 4 hours. I shampooed the carpet. It was the worst. So trust me, strain it because it's bad. Here's how you do it for ours. Since right now I only have 3 watermelon left, and one of them I just noticed rotten. So I'm only gonna have 2 watermelon. Normally I use 4 watermelon and then a couple of whatever else might be in the fridge. Tangerines, I'll probably should have some of those in there. Some lemons, limes. Luckily I've got some raspberry blood oranges. Or raspberry oranges? Not blood oranges, they're raspberry oranges. Okay, well, whatever, these are going in there. My last batch, I put some of those in there too. I do mint leaves, get these from my garden, and ginger, organic ginger. I use this too because it makes it really delicious. The grapefruit, a little bit of honey, mint, and ginger. But today is gonna be a little bit different just because I got the rotten grapefruit, not enough grapefruit. I just had to use what I got. Don't use tap water you need to use some sort of a filtered water that doesn't have chlorine in it. We've got a reverse osmosis machine here, so that's what ours is. But if you use probably fridge water with the filter, it probably would be fine. Tap water, I guess the chlorine will kill your SCOBY. So you don't want to ever use chlorine in your kombucha. This has been steeping a while because I've been yapping. It's been 5 minutes. I don't squeeze my tea bags because apparently that makes it bitter. Then I'm gonna add in my cup of organic sugar. Let me drain it a little bit. You want to still have the sugar added while it's hot because it needs to melt that sugar. Sugar, stir it with something, not with a metal thing. Get it to evaporate. Not evaporate, what would it be? Melt? I don't know. Dissolve, that's the word. Dissolve it in there. And then need to set it to the side to cool it down once it's dissolved, because you're gonna take your SCOBY floater, disgusting floater, or if you're just starting it out, you take it out of the bag and it comes in some starter liquid, and you take your floater out of there and it's gonna sit in that while I use this jug again. If I had another jug, I would rotate the jug out, but I only have the 3 jugs right now. Could do a 4th, but sometimes the fridge is too full and we can't keep up. We're only drinking 1 of these a day. We split it. Okay, this, I've added some water to it and it's just sitting here cooling down. Now we've got to do some juicing. I accidentally melted my juicer, the same kind of citrus juicer that I've had from before we were married. So it's like 20 plus years old. I melted it when I was cooking pancakes and it was too close. My griddle was too close and it melted a hole really low on the bottom. So I bought this just yesterday and it came here today. Thank goodness for Amazon. It was only 20 bucks. A Black & Decker citrus juicer. It says it's 32 ounces, and my other one was 32 also, but this is smaller, so I kind of like it. Nice little size here. I thought this was supposed to reverse it. Oh, there we go. That's cool. All right. I use organic fruit when I can, just because you know if it says organic, it doesn't have the GMOs. So 2 grapefruits ended up being about 12 ounces, and I need more than that. So let's do some, whatever oranges I've got, and maybe some lemons, the blood. Okay, I can already tell you the downside to this one versus my last one is the little pulp holes are very tiny. And so it's not draining the juice as much as the other one, but maybe it'll actually strain it a little better. I won't have to use my strainer as much, although I do see some seeds in there. Normally on my other one, I could rotate my little strainer holes by using a little thing on the handle, and I could and it would kind of rotate it and let the juice go down. But this one, if I push down on these little things to close or make the holes bigger, it automatically turns on. So I'd have to unplug it. It doesn't have a on-off switch. That's kind of a pain in the butt. But I do like that it does the auto rotate. Got tons of pulp in there. Guess I should have figured out the mechanics of how to do it first. I love pulp too. It's a shame I can't keep the pulp. Like if I get orange juice, extra pulp is what I want. I want the home style. That's good. I like to chew on my orange juice. I'll even do a double strain because that's how much I'm afraid of that explosion. Actually, the very first one of each batch, I usually do open outside because I don't want to clean it up, and I've learned my lesson. Done. Here's what I usually do with it. I waste it. A lot of times I'll eat it, or I'll put it in like a shake or something, just so it's not wasted. Double strain, pouring it back in that container. It's really red because I had to use all those blood oranges to get enough juice. So let's see how much juice this ends up being. About 28 ounces of juice. Gotta pour these. My last batch came with this awesome funnel. I usually fill up to about maybe here. I'll just make it even, but usually it's around there of juice. So we'll see how much that is. I've actually never measured it. More than that, a little bit more. Ooh, this one's better pourer than my last one. Okay. Save a little of your juice. I have them evenly poured into all my bottles, but save a little of your juice if you're going to be doing the mint and the ginger. This is a lot of ginger, but I like it to burn. Okay, I'll take some mint. Got these from my garden. A thumb of ginger, or a piece of it, organic ginger. I like that stuff. I take a potato peeler. I'm gonna peel it. Cut up my ginger nice and into strips like toothpicks. I'll smash the heck out of it with this cocktail reamer. It's like a little spiky thing. It came in some cocktail set, but you just, I think it's called a reamer or a muddler, but as you smash it, it punctures the leaves and it releases the oils out of the leaves. Then I'll mix it with my leftover kombucha, the part that I saved just for it. And I swirl it around, get the mint in there, and then I strain it, because if you leave some mint in there, or a big piece, I guess, it'll turn bitter. And then I will cut these into little teeny picky sizes, ones that aren't too big, so they don't clog the hole. And I just drop these in the bottles. Okay, now this is the minty goodness that we just did. So I'm gonna take the rest of this, pour it back in here, and I'm gonna top off each of my little, try to evenly pour a little bit in each one. I take a little glob of honey. Now we are ready for the kombucha. Here's the scoby floating on the top. Gotta get that scoby, put it into this one. Gross. Here comes the snot. That's a thick one. The weird, gross, black stuff that's on here, I've found out, is tea. It's like the tea grains. There's my original scoby in there. I'm way better, I'll touch it now. But anyway, I'll grab any globs off that are just really off-putting. Way better, remember how I almost puked? Couldn't even touch it. I'm fine with it now though. Put it in there, it needs to be like lukewarm, room temperature. Once again, no metal. We're supposed to pour a couple cups of the original liquid in there, so it has some more little buddies to feed off of. So I'll pour that in there. Then whatever's left after I fill my bottles, I'll pour the rest in there. But for right now, he's just gonna live over here and get ready for me to use this jug, clean it out, and then reuse it. It said to stir your bottle too before you pour your kombucha in there. A lot of things that I've seen online have said to leave, you know, a couple inches at the top. I usually go to about maybe here before the top, sometimes even taller. You see how it's already foaming up? Like this kombucha, I went way too long while I let it brew. It's very, very ready. One helpful thing too, if you're doing this at home, is these labels. They're just stickers, and you can write on them what your flavor is and the date. And I used to do that, but now that I do it all one flavor, the whole batch will be just the one flavor, I just will put the date on one of them. And I usually make the same exact flavor. It's usually just a grapefruit. It really doesn't matter. I just write usual on it. But when I was first doing it, you'd have to mark each one, your little concoction, to find out what was good, what you really liked. Highly recommend that. If I can remember to put a link to those labels, I'll put that on there. Okay, this is going back in with the scoby for next time. I wash this jug and dry it, and then I rinse it out with the reverse osmosis water again, just to make sure there's no paper towel remnants or any chlorine or anything in there, but I'll give it, or soap. That's what I'm doing now, is cleaning. By the way, these are fine if you look at them, but I have never once looked at them. I think you're supposed to be between 82 and I think 76 or 78 or something. I'll have to look and see what it is, but I never look at it, ever. SCOBY goes back in the jar, our Petri dish, and then I pour all that juice in there, and then I fill it up with water all the way up to the top. And I go really far because I want to get 7 jugs out. Water in the rest. How do you know when it's time to drink it? My rule of thumb now, it's changed from what it used to be, is pop the top on. I'll put it out. It doesn't go in the fridge until after it's fermented and second round. So with the fruit, it chews and eats up the fruit. With this recipe, it's about 4 days that it sits there, and I don't pop the top at all anymore. At that point, I'll put it in the fridge, one of them. All the rest I keep out. I'll put one in the fridge, and then that next day, or maybe that night, usually it's the next day though, I will pop it and we'll drink it that night. And if it's fizzy enough, all the rest go in the fridge. If it's not, we actually won't drink it. I'll put the lid back on, and they'll all wait another day or two, and I'll just keep rotating one into the fridge to see if it's ready. That's what we do. Hopefully it won't explode for you. Hope you like it. I wish I had all grapefruit to show you, but I don't. I do have one in the fridge though, and it does explode. That is another thing too I need to show you. Let me do it really fast. Okay, this grapefruit doesn't have much of a plug at all. That's easy. But there is sediment at the bottom, and this sediment, once it kind of gets the fizz going, once you pop it open, it makes it really blow out. So what we usually do is we have our glasses ready. Okay, because look, it's gonna start rising up. I gotta get it out quick. And that little mini strainer too, if you don't like having chunks in yours, or that plug. I don't mind the plug, but Steve doesn't really like it. He doesn't mind the ginger, but he doesn't like having that snot glob in there. Anyway, that's what we do. You get your glasses ready and you just get ready to pour. And we don't use the little glasses anymore, we use the big ones, because sometimes it's really fizzy. There we go. It's gonna be delicious. So good. I love it. The grapefruit's the best. You could definitely taste the ginger on that one. I must have used a lot. Yum. Enjoy your life.